Welcome in, everybody, to another Deep Dive. You guys have given us some fascinating excerpts from Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol, and
Yeah,
we're excited to jump in and uncover these secrets
lots to unpack here.
and the layers of symbolism and hidden knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely.
You seem to be particularly interested in the blend of history, mystery, and even a little bit of mind-bending science
A little bit.
that Brown weaves into the story.
Right, and Brown has a knack for that. Taking these real historical figures and events and weaving them into a fictional narrative. And it sparks curiosity and makes you question what you thought you knew.
Yeah. I mean, what better setting for that
Yeah.
than Washington, D.C.?
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, we tend to think of it as this place of just politics and power.
Right.
But Brown really suggests that there's this whole hidden world beneath the surface.
Yeah.
A world of ancient wisdom and secret societies.
Right. And that's where Robert Langdon, our Harvard symbologist, kind of enters the picture. He's summoned to the U.S. Capitol. And
Yeah.
instead of giving a lecture, he stumbles upon a pretty gruesome scene.
A severed hand
Yeah.
in the Capitol Rotunda.
Yeah.
That's definitely not in the brochure,
Definitely not.
but it's more than just a gruesome discovery.
Right.
It's covered in Masonic tattoos. It's wearing a ring.
Right.
It really speaks volumes about what Langdon's up against.
Yeah, the inscription on the ring, "All is revealed at the 33rd degree," is a direct reference to Scottish Rite Freemasonry, the
Yeah.
highest degree, and it's a signal that we're dealing with a group that values symbolism, ritual, and hierarchy.
It's almost like a coded message.
Absolutely.
It's a challenge to Langdon to kind of decipher these secrets.
Yeah.
And as if the hand wasn't enough,
Right.
he also finds a small pyramid in his bag.
Right. That becomes a key object in the story, right? The pyramid is this representation of the mysteries that they have to unravel.
And speaking of those mysteries, can you tell us a bit more about Catherine Solomon and her role in all of this?
Yeah, so Catherine is Peter Solomon's sister, and she's a scientist specializing in noetic science,
Okay.
which is not your typical scientific field. This delves into the power of the human mind, and that our thoughts and beliefs can have a real tangible effect on the world around us.
So it's not just about understanding the brain,
Right.
but about understanding consciousness itself.
Exactly. And Catherine's research suggests that ancient wisdom traditions, like meditation energy healing the power of prayer,
Yeah.
might actually have a scientific basis. She believes that science is rediscovering what the ancients already knew.
That's a pretty radical concept.
Yeah,
I mean, if our thoughts can
Right.
actually influence reality, that opens up
it does.
a whole world of possibility.
It does. And that's where the tension between science and mysticism really comes into play, right? Because her research represents this potential paradigm shift.
Yeah.
This blending of the scientific and spiritual that some, like Malak, want to exploit.
It's this clash of worldviews, this
Yeah.
question of what is knowledge?
Yeah,
What is power that really drives this story?
absolutely.
And I guess as we delve deeper into the mystery,
Yeah,
we're going to see how these different perspectives play out.
absolutely. But before we go too far, I think it's worth pointing out that Catherine's personal story adds another layer.
Okay.
Her mother's tragic death, the disappearance of her brother Zachary in a Turkish prison,
Yeah.
have shaped her worldview and her determination to understand the hidden forces at work.
It seems that loss and the search for meaning are
Yeah.
recurring themes in Dan Brown's work.
Indeed, and they resonate with us on a deep level, don't they?
Yeah.
It makes the story all the more captivating.
Okay, so getting back to the mystery at hand,
Yeah.
how do Langdon and Catherine even begin to piece together this puzzle?
Right.
I mean, they have a severed hand, a pyramid with strange symbols.
Right. Well, those symbols on the pyramid are a crucial clue. And they're following a trail of breadcrumbs, this hidden map that leads them through the heart of D.C.
And that leads them to a hidden chamber.
It does. Underneath the Capitol building, a Masonic chamber of reflection.
What is a chamber of reflection?
So in Masonic tradition, it's a place for contemplation and introspection.
Okay.
It's a space where initiates can confront their fears and reflect on the deeper meaning of their journey.
So it's not just a physical space.
Right.
It's a symbolic space.
Exactly. A representation of an inner journey.
So this hidden chamber beneath the Capitol,
Right.
this space for reflection,
Yeah.
is this a real place? Or did Dan Brown just invent this?
That's the fascinating thing about Brown's work, is that he blends fact and fiction so seamlessly that it's hard to tell where one ends and the other begins.
Yeah.
And there's actually a Masonic memorial in D.C. that contains a replica of the Chamber of Reflection. So while the specific chamber might be fictionalized,
Yeah.
it's rooted in real Masonic history and ritual.
Okay, so we're already seeing this blurring of lines between
Yeah.
what's real and what's imagined.
Right.
And I think that's kind of the point, right?
Absolutely.
This sense of mystery.
Yeah.
This possibility that something extraordinary might be hidden beneath the surface.
Absolutely. And as Langdon and Catherine's quest continues, they're venturing deeper into this hidden world, uncovering secrets, encountering characters who are both intriguing and dangerous.
And I'm guessing that journey takes them to some pretty unexpected places.
Well, let's just say that their search for the lost word leads them through the Smithsonian's underground storage facility.
Smithsonian.
Yes.
That's not exactly the first place that comes to mind when you think of secret societies and hidden knowledge.
But that's the genius of it, right? He takes these familiar, seemingly mundane locations and transforms them into places of wonder and intrigue.
Okay. I'm officially intrigued.
Good.
What exactly do they find in the Smithsonian's basement?
Ah, that's where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, you've definitely piqued my curiosity. I can't wait to see what secrets we uncover next.
Stay tuned.
I will. Welcome back to our deep dive into the lost symbol. When we left off, Robert Langdon and Catherine Solomon were headed to the Smithsonian following the symbols on that mysterious pyramid.
Yeah, it's not just dusty artifacts and forgotten exhibits down there, though. Remember, we're dealing with a story where ancient wisdom and modern science kind of intersect.
Right.
The Smithsonian becomes this symbolic battleground for knowledge and power.
So it's a representation of something much larger.
Exactly.
This microcosm of the struggle for knowledge and power. And as they navigate this labyrinth, they encounter not only the artifacts, but individuals who represent different sides of this struggle.
You've got Trent Anderson, the Capitol's head of security, who's caught between his duty and this unfolding chaos. You've got Inui Sato, the CIA director, driven by her own agenda, and of course Trish Dunn, Catherine's resourceful assistant, whose tech skills prove invaluable.
It's like a game of chess.
Yeah.
With each character making their move, trying to outmaneuver the others in this pursuit of the lost word.
Absolutely.
But how do they get deeper into the Smithsonian? I mean, they were following those symbols on the pyramid, right?
Yeah. The symbols act as a cipher, a guide through this labyrinth of knowledge.
Okay.
And they lead to a pretty intriguing discovery.
Okay.
A hidden Masonic meditation room.
A Masonic meditation room.
Oh.
Okay, so we're back to this theme of reflection.
Right.
This idea of an inner journey mirroring the outer quest.
And it speaks to the way Brown kind of weaves symbolism and psychology throughout this whole narrative.
Yeah.
He's inviting us to engage in our own process of discovery, to question our assumptions and explore those hidden depths of our own minds.
I love how Brown keeps us guessing, weaving together history, science, and spirituality.
Yeah.
In a way that's both thought-provoking and entertaining.
Absolutely.
But I have to admit, I'm still a bit confused about Director Sato.
Yeah.
Why is she so determined to retrieve this pyramid? What is her motivation?
Well, remember we talked about the CIA having this classified file on the pyramid. It turns out that they've been aware of its existence for some time, but they don't fully understand its significance. So Sato sees this pyramid as a potential key to unlocking some kind of power. A power that she believes could threaten national security.
So she's operating on a need-to-know basis.
Right.
Filling in the blanks with her own assumptions.
Precisely. And that's where the theme of manipulation comes into play. Because we find out that Malak, the story's villain, has been feeding her false information.
Wow.
Manipulating her into doing his bidding. He's using her ambition and mistrust of the Masons to further his own agenda.
Wow. So it makes you question everything you see and hear.
Exactly. It highlights the power of information or misinformation in shaping our perceptions.
This is where I start to think about the role of secret societies in our own world.
Yeah.
I mean, do they really wield that much power?
That's a complex question and one that Brown kind of grapples with.
Yeah.
Secret societies, by their very nature, are shrouded in mystery. They evoke fascination and fear, and it's easy to project anxieties onto them.
It's this blurring of lines between fact and fiction that I think makes Brown's work so compelling.
Absolutely.
You start to question what you believe.
Right.
wondering if there's more to reality than meets the eye.
And as the story progresses, that line between what's real and imagined becomes even more difficult to discern.
Right.
Take, for instance, Catherine's encounter with the sensory deprivation tank.
Right, that was a pretty intense scene.
It was.
Almost a symbolic representation of being trapped in the darkness of Malak's world.
Absolutely. The sensory deprivation tank, which is designed to isolate the mind from all external stimuli, becomes this metaphor for Catherine's struggle to maintain her sanity and resist Malak's manipulation.
Right.
It's a battle for control, not just of her body, but of her mind and spirit.
It's like the ultimate challenge to her belief in noetic science.
If the mind is as powerful as she believes, can it overcome even this extreme form of isolation?
So how does she escape? It seemed like a pretty hopeless situation.
It really is a testament to her resourcefulness and scientific mind. She uses her knowledge of the tank's mechanisms to trigger this hidden release valve, flooding the chamber and allowing her to escape.
Okay, so she gets out of the tank, but she's still in Malak's lair?
Right.
How does she get out of that?
This is where Trish Dunn's tech skills come into play.
Okay.
Remember, she was a data analyst? Well, she manages to hack into the CIA's network and access their classified files on the pyramid.
She went full-on hacker mode.
She did. It's a testament to her loyalty and determination to uncover the truth.
So her hacking reveals Malak's manipulations.
It does. She discovers that he's been communicating with Director Sato this whole time, feeding her false information about Peter Solomon and the Masons. So he's playing both sides, manipulating everyone to get what he wants.
But her hacking also reveals something else.
It does. Malak's location, 8 Franklin Square. Does that sound familiar?
8 Franklin Square.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Isn't that the address of the House of the Temple?
You got it. The Masonic headquarters in D.C.
Okay, so the pieces of the puzzle are finally starting to come together.
They are. This final confrontation is going to take place in a building that's steeped in Masonic history and symbolism.
Okay, before we get there, can we talk about that inscription on the pyramid?
Absolutely.
I know it's connected to Benjamin Franklin and some kind of magic square.
Right, so the inscription on the base reads, Jehovah Sanctus Unus, which is Latin for one holy God. Langdon deciphers this using an alchemical magic square.
Okay, hold on, alchemy. Magic squares, this is getting a little esoteric, even for Dan Brown.
But that's part of the fun, right? Brown loves to delve into these obscure areas of knowledge. And the magic square that Langdon uses is actually based on one designed by Benjamin Franklin himself.
Oh, wow.
So it's a nod to Franklin's interest in these hidden worlds.
So we're seeing this convergence of science history and symbolism.
We are.
All pointing towards a deeper truth hidden in plain sight.
And as we approach the climax, this search for the lost word takes on a whole new level of urgency.
Yeah, this is definitely building to an exciting finish.
It is.
What exactly happens when everyone gets to the House of the Temple?
Well, as you can imagine, chaos ensues.
Yeah. And what about Peter Solomon? We haven't heard much about him lately.
Yeah, Peter's role is more complex than it appears. And the truth about his connection to Malak is about to be revealed. But for those answers, you'll have to join us for the final part of our deep dive.
I can't wait. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Good.
This has been so fascinating. Okay, welcome back. We are ready to uncover the lost word.
Yes.
We've journeyed through these hidden chambers, explored ancient mysteries. And now it's time to get to the heart of the matter. What is it that Malak has been seeking?
Well, as we approach the climax, Brown reveals that the lost word isn't what we might have expected. It's not a physical object or a hidden location. It's something much more profound.
Okay, I'm ready. Lay it on me. What is it?
The lost word is the power of the human mind. It's the realization of our own potential, our ability to tap into this universal consciousness to shape reality through our beliefs.
So it's not about some external force, but the power within each of us.
Exactly. Remember Catherine's research on noetic science. That's the key here. Throughout the story, we've seen these examples of the mind's power, Langdon's intuition, Catherine's experiments, even Malak's manipulations. Brown's showing us that science is catching up with what ancient wisdom traditions have known all along.
I see how the pieces are fitting together now. The symbols, the secret societies, the quest for the lost word. It's all about tapping into this hidden potential.
Precisely. And the House of the Temple becomes this perfect setting for this final revelation. where ancient wisdom and modern ambition collide.
So what happens when everyone shows up at the House of the Temple?
Well, as you might expect, chaos ensues. There's a struggle for control as Moloch tries to carry out his plan,
Okay.
while Langdon and Catherine are racing against time to stop him.
And what about Peter Solomon? Does he factor into all this?
Peter's role is really pivotal here.
Okay.
Remember that theme of manipulation?
Yeah.
Well, Moloch's entire scheme has been orchestrated to manipulate Peter, to force him to confront a truth that he's been trying to bury.
Okay, I'm really curious now. What truth is Moloch trying to make Peter face?
It strikes at the very heart of his identity, his family, and his beliefs.
Okay.
Remember how Catherine's brother Zachary disappeared years ago?
Right.
Well, it turns out that Zachary didn't actually die. He survived, but he was transformed into this vengeful figure we know as Moloch.
Yeah. Moloch is Peter's son.
Yes, that's the shocking reveal. Moloch has been orchestrating this elaborate scheme to get revenge on his father,
Wow.
who he believes abandoned him.
So this whole quest for the lost word, the manipulation of the CIA, it's all been driven by this personal vendetta.
Exactly, and it shows the destructive power of anger and the desire for revenge.
Yeah.
Moloch is so obsessed with the lost word that he's blind to the truth,
Right.
that the power he seeks is already within him.
It's almost tragic. You know,
Agreed.
it's so focused on external power that he's failed to see what's inside.
Right, and this realization comes to a head in this final confrontation. Moloch believes he needs to make a blood sacrifice. So he gives Peter a knife
What?
and commands him to kill him.
He wants Peter to kill him.
It's this twisted form of manipulation.
Wow.
He wants to force Peter to embrace the darkness, to commit this violent act that would stain his soul.
Okay.
He believes that by dying at his father's hand, he can achieve some kind of transcendence.
So does Peter actually kill him?
He's tormented by this choice.
Yeah.
But just as he's about to make a decision, Langdon intervenes.
How does Langdon intervene? Does he stop Peter?
In a way, yes, but not with physical force.
Okay.
He understands the true nature of the lost word.
Right.
So he focuses all of his mental energy on Moloch.
Yeah.
He floods his mind with the knowledge that he's not a god.
So he's using his belief as a weapon.
Exactly. It's this battle of wolves, a clash of ideologies.
Yeah.
And Moloch, weakened by his injuries and overwhelmed by Langdon's intention, collapses.
So it's not physical force, but the power of belief that takes him down.
Right.
What happens to Moloch? Does he die?
Yeah. He's severely injured, but his defeat is a turning point for everyone.
What do they learn from this?
They learn that true power doesn't lie in ancient secrets or some external force, but within themselves. The lost word, the power they've been seeking, is the power of the human mind.
It's a powerful message that we all have this potential to tap into this power and maybe even create a better world.
Absolutely. And as the story ends, the characters are left with this sense of hope, a renewed faith in humanity.
Wow, this has been an amazing journey exploring this hidden world of symbols and ancient wisdom.
It has.
We discovered that the most profound secrets are those within ourselves.
Indeed, and I think the most important question we can ask ourselves is, how will we use the power of the lost word in our own lives?
That's something for us all to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep exploring those mysteries,
Absolutely.
both within and without.